Hi. One of my favorite genres actually are stories that have some kind of a big backdrop to them, or either very small, intimate stories against a big backdrop, or very big stories against a very small backdrop. And what has always fascinated me is a regular work environment against which some kind of a lifescape is written. I read my very first Charles Bukowski novel, Post Office, some time ago, and it was quite a revelation that you know writing like that could move me so much. I am not really very big on profanity and where characters are crude and they talk about women a certain way, or they treat women a certain where the character talks about women a certain way or treats women a certain way. But this was a revelation. The What is interesting about the version that I read, I got it on Kindle, is the preface. In the preface, there is another person who also works in the post office. I don't know whether that person is famous or not, but this person, while working in the post office in UK, reads the novel Charles Bukowski's Post Office, and his description of the impact the book had on his life, um, especially that particular longish afternoon where he took a break to read the book, is something. I think it crystallizes just what is really good about reading and writing. The book itself, the story is basically about this one person, and he gets a job in the post office, and he has this attitude where he's too cool for school, and the rules and regulations are very inane to him. His supervisor is a pain in the ass, and all of that. But this guy lives on. Okay, he lives with he gets attracted to women. In fact, the book begins with him hooking up with a woman he's gone to deliver letters to. um, he has a fling, he has a long-term relationship with somebody. It doesn't work out, then he goes out and he has a relationship with someone else. His heart is broken. There is a part where he is in a relationship with a very rich woman, a woman slightly stilted in the emotional department, and he is trying to make it work, but he kind of knows that this woman is slipping away from him. She started having an affair, and one day she comes, and and he notices that she basically, after an argument, kicks her pet dog, and that's when he loses his temper a little bit. That little slice of humanity that peels off at various points of the story is is quite masterful, I thought. And this guy, he thinks that he's just going to be in and out of post office, but so much happens in his life, and his constant steady is a job in the post office. And he has a daughter with another one of his lovers. His lover is an activist, she's a writer, she goes to certain clubs and meetings, and he does not feel deficient because of that, even though he's in a very regular, run of the mill job, very dowdy job, really. While she is on to doing some really big things, which she never does. And that really hurts, or at least that really hurt me, because maybe that echoed a lot of what I'm doing, or what I want to do. So many aspirations, but not really. Nothing much is materializing. But he has a daughter with this woman, and she moves out and he moves on, and he still tries to make time for his daughter. And what is really big about this novel is that in a big world there are very many small worlds, small boring worlds, and small boring lives that are getting lived out. um, the extent of the tedium, the depth of that anguish, and the sweeping nature of those kind of joys, uh, we live through them, but maybe we don't get them, unless you read about all of these things about somebody else's life. There is a part where he has a colleague, and the colleague is he's been a solid asset to the post office, and our character has to has to work alongside him, and there is a basic number or something that they have to catch up to, and the solid guy has always matched up to those numbers, and our fellow hasn't, and he doesn't really care. And one day, as the solid guy finishes or accomplishes his goal, the supervisor comes in and dumps another large sack of mail, and this man just breaks. He starts weeping, he loses it, and after that he's removed from the job, and he spent close to 40 years or something in that job. And you know, what really struck me is that this man, who's by this time had a daughter, left women, loved women, uh, felt hollow, made friends, lost friends. In all of that, this seemingly dead end job also kills, also lets you live. Um, I don't know, it explains a lot.